today's good morning, and here the outline of the today's session is the brief history of the hardware description language, structure of hardware description language module. We have to understand whenever we have to write down the code, so we know about all the structures, right? Uh, that is the operators, which are the operators are used in the VHDL, and how whenever if you have to write down the any operations, so how we can represent that operators. Okay, so data types and what are the data types are involved in the are used in the VHDL. Types of description, types of description is the different methodologies to represent hardware description language. Okay. Simulation and synthesis. We'll understand the difference between simulation and synthesis, VHDL design units, and the brief comparison of VHDL and Verilog. Okay. So here we have start, that is the point, hardware description language. So first we know about of the hardware description language, that is uh, actually we are getting the two major types of the hardware description language. So already we have covered through the one of the subject, that is the fundamental of hardware description language. Through this subject we have understood the languages VHDL and Verilog, right? So here, first we will understand why the HDL hardware description language. Actually, in the previous session, we have covered the design flow chart. So that times we know whenever we have to manufacture a VLSI chips, right? Whenever we have to manufacture a VLSI chips, so we know about of the, yes, different stages of the in the VLSI design flow. Okay, and in the one of the stage, that is the logic design circuits. Okay, or the logic design steps. In the logic design steps, use the RTL, that is the register transfer level. Okay, in this RTL, we are use the hardware description language, and already we know about of and majorly use the two hardware description language. One is the VHDL and second is the Verilog, right? So in the hardware description language, but why the hardware description language, right? In the logic design, why the prefer the hardware description language, right? So these are the reasons because of only use the hardware description language. Hardware description language is a CAD tool, that is a computer-aided design tool for modern design and synthesis of digital systems, right? So hardware description language is used to make a model of the digital circuit, right? The recent steady advances in semiconductor technology continue to increase the power and complexity of digital systems, right? So already with the MOS transistor theory, that times we have all these things we have covered, that is the complexity of digital system, as well how there is the increase in power when increases the complexity of digital systems. Okay, so all that things already we have covered through the first unit. Okay. Discrete IC implementation is a difficult, hence high density PLDs and CAD tools are required. Right. So here the complexity of digital circuits. So the product of the VLSI chips, always its complexity is increased whenever we have to increase the functionality of that chips, right? So if you have to increase the functionality of the VLSI chips, so definitely complexity of digital system is increased, right? So in the discrete IC implementation, so if the circuit complexity is the very high, so discrete IC implementation is the very difficult. Hence, high density PLD, programmable logic devices, and CAD tools are required. So what are the CAD tools? So this is the as they use as a CAD tools, hardware description language. Okay. So here that whenever we have to implement that types of the design, so hardware description language is an integral part of a such tools. Okay. So hardware description language offers the designers a very efficient tool for implementing and synthesizing designs on chips. Okay, very efficient tool. So that's why this is the answer for the PyHDL. The designer uses hardware description language to describe the system in a computer language that is similar to several common languages, right? So already we know most of the language which are compatible or also we can suitable to the computer languages. Okay, so hardware like same, it's also suitable or support to the computer language, right? Two widely used hardware, that is the VHDL and Verilog, right? Okay, so first we'll understand the brief history of VHDL. Okay, so history point of view, all of you know the first we know the about of the VHDL. Okay, VHDL stands for Very High Speed Integrated Circuit, in short VHSIC, right? So in the VHSIC, Very High Speed Integrated Circuit Hardware Description Language, that is the full form of VHDL. Not only the very high uh, hardware description language. Most of the students are writing the only very high description language. Is the wrong. Okay. The full form for the VHDL, very high speed integrated circuits, that is the VHSIC hardware description language, that is the full form for a VHDL. Don't confuse about of it. Okay. So history point of view, we will understand that is the 1981 initiated by the US. Okay, address hardware life cycle crisis at the gate level. 1983-85 development of the baseline language by Intermetrics, IBM and Texas Instruments. Okay, and 1986 all rights transferred to IEEE. So in the VHDL language, we are start with the VHDL code with the IEEE language, right? So that rights is transferred at the 1986. Okay. Uh, at the 1987 publication of artificial standards, different IEEE libraries are used whenever we have to write down the HDL code for make a model of a digital circuit. Then the history point of view, again the ASICs, application specific integrated circuits, right? Uh, then at the 1994, this is the revised standard for the VHDL by the name is 1076 and underscore 1993, right? 2000, at the 2000 again the revised standards for this language, that is the name by VHDL 1076 underscore 2000 edition. At the 2002, see the 1076 underscore 2002. Okay, and at the 2007 1076C underscore 2007. Okay, and at the recently revised by the 2009, that is the 1076 underscore 2008. Okay, so first here, whenever we have to write down a code for the any digital circuits, we know about of the structure, how to represent that digital circuit as a HDL module, right? So people understand of the structure of the HDL module, they will understand what are the features of the hardware description language, right? So for the hardware description language, it supports to the concurrent and the sequential language. So the basic difference between the concurrent and sequential language is concurrent language which facilitates parallel execution of its statement, right? So it's called as a concurrent language. And in the sequential language, in the execution, one statement is executed at a time. Okay, so that is the difference between the concurrent and sequential language. This is the major features of the hardware description language. And the concurrent language, because of the concurrent language features, we have possible to implement the digital circuit. If it's only support to the sequential language, it will like as a C language, right? But whenever we have to implement the or make a model of the digital circuit or represent the digital circuit by the hardware description language, so by the requirement of hardware description language to represent the digital circuit, so because it support to the concurrent language. Okay, so that is the feature of the hardware description language. Concurrent language, it means that a language which facilitates parallel execution of its statements is called as a concurrent language. Okay. So one of the features of the hardware description language is the netlist. Netlist, that is the after the synthesis of the VHDL code, netlist is produced. Okay. So netlist, it is a textual information of logic cells and their interconnection. So what are the how these components are interconnected, and what are the logic cells are used. So that kind of the information is included in the netlist. Okay, it's called as a netlist, and that netlist is produced after a synthesis of VHDL code. Okay. Uh, in industry standard format, it is also known as a term that is the EDIF. Okay, EDIF, it means that electronic design interchange format. This netlist is also called as the EDIF format. Okay. One of the next feature of the language is a test bench. Okay. Test bench. All these are the features are very important when we have to execute the hardware description language code with the particular software like as a Xilinx or any Cadence tool. So that times we know all these are the features. Okay, and according the designing steps of this VLSI design flow. So at the every stages, we have to produce a file in the particular format. Okay, so we know about how this format will supported by which particular stage of the VLSI design flow. Okay, so next feature is that the test bench. Test bench is a VHDL model which generate test vectors, and these test vectors sends them to the module which is to be tested. Okay. Uh, जो मॉड्यूल आपको एग्जीक्यूट करना है उस मॉड्यूल को हमें टेस्ट वेक्टर सेंड करना पड़ता है. ओके, so test bench is a VHDL model which generate test vectors, and these test vectors sent to the module which is to be tested. Okay, so we can say it is a use for the verification of design. So yesterday already we have designed after the every stage of the VLSI design flow, we have to verify this stage by the particular software tools or the simulation tool, right? So this is the verification tool, that is the test bench. Okay, so this test bench is generated test vectors, and these test vectors are to send as an input to the module, which module is to be tested. Okay, and after verification or correctness of the your expected results, then you can come from this stage and go to the next design stage of that VLSI design flow. Right? Timing specification. One of the important features for the hardware description language is the timing specification. VHDL supports both synchronous as well as asynchronous timing model. Right? So these are the measures, we can say that these are the measures features of the hardware description language. Also, uh, uh, more features of the hardware description language. It may be it support the all types of the design methodologies like the top down, bottom up, or the mixed types of the design methodologies. Uh, this language supports different description methodologies, like as we can say the more different modeling styles, like as a structural modeling styles, behavioral modeling styles, data flow modeling styles, or the mixed level modeling styles, and also the one of the advanced, that is the mixed language modeling style. Okay, it's support for the design libraries, uh, hierarchical design, support multiple levels of abstraction. Okay, so these are the features of the hardware description language. And now here we will come on to the major topic, that is the structure of the hardware description model. Okay, in the structure point of view, first we know about that is the entity and architecture. So already we have understood about of the whenever we have to write down the code. So that times the entity and architectures, which are very important to write down the code. That is here. VHDL can be divided into two major parts: entity and architecture. Right. So this is the most important when you have to write down the code for any particular digital circuit. So first we'll understand about of the entity. Entity is a part of the VHDL, okay, where we declare all the inputs and outputs of the program, right? We give some identifier names for the input and output in this part. VHDL is the insensitive module, case insensitive. Okay, so this is again important word, case insensitive. Case insensitive, it means yes, you can use the uppercase as well the lowercase in this module. Comparatively, Verilog language is not support to the case insensitive. So that's why in the Verilog, you have to refer on either use the, only use the lower case. Okay, so that is the difference between VHDL and Verilog. Okay, but whenever we have to write down the entity, we have to follow the few rules. But also we'll understand about of the in the structure point of view, uh, we are getting the different design units, or also we are seeing the primary units when we have to write down the structure, entity that declared by the entity declaration, again the architecture body, configuration declaration, then package declaration and package body. Okay, so again I'm repeat, that is the entity. Entity, it means that digital system. In VHDL, it consists of a design entity that contain other entries that can, or components of the top level entity. Okay, so uh, before going on to the architecture, we'll understand the term of the entity. The entity declaration, it specifies the uh, name of the entity being modeled and list the set of interface ports. Okay, like as these inputs and all the output in this part, right? Ports are signals through which the entity communicates with the other models in its external environment. Okay, so we'll understand what are the rules to write the entity. Okay, this is the structure of the module. So the structure of module, this is the rules to write the entity. The first letter of the entity should be alphabet. Okay, special character should not be allowed except underscore. Underscore is allowed. Okay. So other than underscore, no any special character is allowed. Two underscore continuously. If two underscore is continuously, not allowed. It will generate the, if you use, uh, is there any mistake with your code, if you use two underscore, so it will show that is the, yes, error, syntax errors. It's called as a syntax error. Okay, the last cannot end with the special character. At the end of your entity, it's you don't end with the special character, right? Okay, so just here with the example, you can understand that is the, an entity always start with a keyword, that is the entity. Okay, first letter of entity should be alphabet, right? And followed by its name, the keyword is, entity is. Okay, and the part declaration using the keyword port. Okay, so here you can understand that is the entity followed by its name. Okay, and the keyword predefined word is the is. This is the entity name, and underscore gate. This is the entity name. Port in bracket A, B, Y. These are the input and output signal defined by the modes, by the different modes. So how we can identify A is the input because the mode is the A. If the output signal is there, Y declare as the out mode, and these are the data types of the A. It's used by the bit. Okay, again B is represented by the bit, Y is also bit. Okay, after completing this, semicolon, and the entity end with the entity end with the end entity semicolon. Okay, so this is the just simple example of the entity. Yes, next is the structure of the agent module, architecture. Second major, or also we can say the important part, is that the architecture. In the architecture, the architecture, it specifies the internal view of the entity. Okay, architecture body, it specifies the internal view of the entity, right? So architecture is the part where we declare the relationship between the inputs and outputs. We can write the more than one architecture for the same entity. Okay, we can write the more than one architecture. If you write down the one entity, and within that module, you can declare the one or the more architecture body associated with one entity. The architecture is a predefined one. Okay, so again here we have represent this uh, architecture with one particular example. That is the first predefined word is the architecture. Okay, it's followed by its name, that is the gate. Okay, again the predefined word is the of, and this is the name of the entity. Okay, followed by the entity, and this entity name is followed by the predefined word is. Okay, so this is the syntax to write down the architecture body. Okay, so and within that architecture body, so you can mention here the keyword is the begin. Okay, so with the keyword is begin, you have start writing the architecture body. Okay, so here I use the one statement, that is the y. This is the assignment operator. Y assigns as a and b. Is A and B, which already we have declared in the entity as an input, and Y is we have declared as the output. So according to this statement, so here Y assigned as A and B. And what will be the operation? AND operation. Logically, AND operation will perform between these two operands. Okay, so already with the operands we have declared with the entity, and execute the operation of these between these operands in the architecture body. Okay, so end this statement with the semicolon. Okay, and after end of your architecture body, write down the end architecture. Write down the name of the, also you have to write down the name of the architecture body. Okay. So this is the entity and architecture. Yes, if anybody having the doubt, please ask me through chat box. Huh? Okay, so we'll go to the next topic. So this is the next is the operators. Okay. So operators, which are very important. Just with the previous example, we have considered the operation is the logical operation. Which type of the logical operation? And okay, so these operators are important in the behavior when we have to perform the different operations, right? So what are the operators are used in behavior? Logical, relational, arithmetic, and shift operators. Okay. So anyone please take the snapshot and send me on my WhatsApp. Huh? Please give me any reply, yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, VHDL supports different classes of operators that operate on signals, variables, and constants. The different classes of operators we can, if you can summarize, so these are, that is the logical, relational, shift operator, adding, multiplying, which are comes under the arithmetic, and one of the important, that is the shift operator. Right. So in the first is the logical operator. So uh, how many types of the logical operator? 7 types of the logical operator. This is the predefined by the name is and or not, and nor, XOR, XOR. Okay, so it's called as a bitwise logical operator. Okay, bitwise, it means it performs the operation bit by bit. Okay, every bit is compared between these two operands and produce the results. So that's why it's called as a bitwise logical operator. Also, this operator is called as a predefined operator. This operator is also defined by the name is predefined. Okay. Okay. Next is the relational operators. In the relational operators, compare the two operands and return a single bit 1 or 0. These operators synthesize into comparators, and this is the symbol for the operators. Okay, equal to. Okay, then inequality, less than. This is the we can say the less than equal to. This is the greater or greater than equal to. Here also I written operators. This is the less than. Okay, this is the less than or equal to. This is the greater than and greater than equal to, and equal to are the basic. Okay, so these are the operators.